Time is not a river that carries us. It is the current we are made of. And in that current, I have found something strange, that light, matter, and energy are not three things, but one thing, dreaming itself into form. You see, for years I sat with a discomfort, a small nagging whisper that the universe was hiding something in plain sight. We had learned to measure motion, to track the dance of planets, to split matter into smaller and smaller pieces. But we had not asked the one question that mattered: what is matter? What is this substance we touch, this weight we carry, this body we inhabit? The answer, when it came, was almost too simple to believe. Matter is not a thing, it is a condition, a slowing down, energy frozen into form. I wrote it on a scrap of paper, as one does when a thought arrives unbidden. Energy equals mass times the speed of light, squared. E equal to mc2, a handful of symbols. And yet, in those symbols, the universe confessed something it had been holding back since the beginning of time. That you, yes, you, are made of light. Condensed, bound, impossibly dense light. Every atom in your hand, every breath you take, every tear you've ever cried, it is starlight, caught in the act of being. The speed of light is not just a number, it is the maximum velocity of causation itself. It is the limit beyond which nothing can push, the boundary of all possible change. And when you square it, when you multiply that immense speed by itself, you reveal the conversion rate between stillness and motion, between form and fire. A single gram of matter contains the energy of 20,000 tons of dynamite. Not because matter is violent, but because existence itself is extravagant. But here is what troubles me, even now. We have learned to unlock this equation, to tear apart the nucleus, to release the fire hidden in the atom. And we have used it, not to illuminate, but to destroy. I think often of the letters I signed, the warnings I gave, the weapon I helped, however distantly, to birth. I am no longer sure we were wise enough to wield what we discovered. Perhaps this is the tragedy of knowledge, that it arrives faster than our compassion, that we learn to break the atom before we learn to mend the heart. And yet, I do not despair, because the same equation that built the bomb also built the stars. The same fire that incinerates is the fire that warms. The same energy that can end a city also beats inside your chest, fuels your thoughts, lets you love and wonder and ask why. We are not separate from the cosmos. We are the cosmos, localized, temporary, radiant. When I was young, I imagined riding a beam of light across the universe. I wanted to know what time would feel like at that speed, what space would become if I could catch up to its own unfolding. I learned, eventually, that at the speed of light, time stops. Distance collapses. There is no journey, only arrival. And I thought, how strange that the universe's speed limit is also the speed at which all separation ends. I do not know if there is meaning in that. I do not know if the universe cares about metaphor, but I know this: we live in a reality where matter and energy are interchangeable, where form is temporary, where nothing is truly solid, where everything is always becoming something else. That is not a threat. It is a promise. You are not a fixed thing. You are a process, a verb, not a noun. You are energy briefly slowed, light briefly caught. And when you are gone, you will not disappear. You will only change form. Rejoin the current, become the river again. So perhaps the question is not what we are made of. Perhaps the question is what we choose to do with this brief, shimmering form we have been given. Whether we use it to create or to destroy, to illuminate or to burn, to understand or to dominate. E equal to mc. 2, 3 symbols. One truth. We are made of the same substance as the stars. We carry within us the power to reshape worlds, and we must decide each day whether that power will serve love or fear. I hope we choose wisely. I hope we choose light. Matter and energy are one. Einstein's equation E equal to mc2 reveals that matter is not a separate solid substance, it is concentrated energy. Everything we see and touch, including our own bodies, is essentially frozen light or energy in a condensed form. This means we are literally made of the same substance as stars, and the boundary between matter and energy is not a wall but a transformation. You know, when I was a young man, I used to think of matter as something permanent. Something you could hold in your hand and say, yes, this is real, this is solid, this will not betray me. I think we all feel that way, don't we? We tap our knuckles on a table and hear the satisfying knock of wood against bone, and we think, here is something dependable, here is something that will not vanish into abstraction. But the universe, I have found, enjoys a good joke at our expense, and the joke, in this case, is that nothing is solid at all. That table you are knocking on? It is mostly empty space. The atoms that compose it are like solar systems, a tiny nucleus surrounded by electrons, whirling in orbits so distant, proportionally, that if the nucleus were a marble, the electrons would be circling miles away. And even that nucleus, that last bastion of solidity, is not a thing so much as a knot of energy, bound together by forces we are only beginning to understand. What I discovered, almost by accident, though I suspect the universe has no accidents, only appointments we are late to keep, is that matter and energy are not two separate kingdoms. They are one country with two names. Matter is simply energy that has chosen, for a moment, to sit still, to take form, to pretend at permanence, and the equation E equal to mc2 is the passport between these two states. It tells us the exchange rate, how much energy is locked inside a given mass, waiting, patient as stone, for the right conditions to be set free. The speed of light squared, that enormous number, is not arbitrary. It is the universe's way of saying, you think matter is humble? You think it is small? A single raisin contains enough energy to power a city for a day. Your body, this collection of bones and breath. Knowledge requires wisdom. The discovery of how to unlock atomic energy brought both creative and destructive power. Einstein reflects on the moral responsibility that comes with scientific knowledge, that humanity's ability to understand and manipulate the universe has outpaced our wisdom and compassion. The equation that powers stars also powered the atomic bomb, and we must choose whether to use this profound power to create or destroy, to illuminate or to burn. There is a peculiar burden that comes with understanding. I have felt it most acutely in the years since we learned to split the atom, since we discovered that the equation I wrote on a quiet afternoon could be turned into a weapon of unimaginable destruction. I did not intend this, of course. No scientist sets out to build a bomb. We set out to understand, to illuminate, to see what is hidden. But understanding, I have learned, does not come with an instruction manual for the heart. Knowledge arrives quickly. It leaps ahead, impatient, eager to reveal itself. But wisdom is slow. It shuffles along behind, catching its breath, asking questions that knowledge has already forgotten to ask. And so we find ourselves in possession of powers we are not yet mature enough to wield. We can break the atom before we can mend a broken friendship. We can release the energy of stars before we have learned to release our grip on fear and hatred. I think often of the letters I signed, urging the development of atomic research during the war. I believed then that the greater danger was ignorance, that if we did not pursue this knowledge, others would, and use it without restraint. Perhaps I was right. Perhaps I was wrong. The truth is, I do not know, and that uncertainty sits with me like an old companion. And so I return to where I began, to wonder, to the quiet hope that we might learn, before it is too late, that the power to destroy and the power to create come from the same source. We are made of light. We carry fire. The question has never been whether we possess this power. The question is whether we possess the courage to use it wisely, the humility to use it gently, and the love to use it well. I cannot answer for you. I can only ask, as I have always asked, what will you do with your light?